Okay, thank you.
Sir, we
Hello.
can see it now.
Yeah, that's the correct slide. Okay, let me refresh. So yeah, apologies with that one. So yeah, so for now I will discuss to you about the future digital era. So to give you context, our internet was used 1960. It was used by the US military during that time. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, next slide. Okay, currently, commercially, it was introduced on 1960 in mobile communication in 1G via ito yung malalaking cellphone or yung analog type of cellphone. And then 1990 na-introduce yung 2G, which is nag-start na yung digital voice calls, text messages, basic data services. Then after which 2000 na-introduce yung broadband technology. Then 2010 the 4G and the 2020 the 5G, which is yung today nating technology. In web, 1990 na-introduce si internet with us via read only. So basically, the companies can share. Then for commercial use, we can just read. So they will share and we will just read during 1990. In 2000, it starts na yung we can share now. So via platforms like YouTube, Instagram, or even Facebook, or during the time it's Friendster. So we can share, we can read. In 2010 onwards, nag-i-start na yung Web3. So some of us or kung sino yung well-versed sa Web3, they can now post, they can do the YouTube-like thing. So they can create their platform. They can initiate with bypassing the YouTube or Instagram or Facebook. They can do that in read, write, and execute. Then next slide, please. Next slide. So actually is our agenda today is the future of connectivity from today onwards, powering the digital economy through next gen internet beyond bandwidth. So, what's the role of ISP in AI, cloud, and 5G? Smart networks, the role of internet providers in digital future, the internet of the future trend, every computing of students should know, cybersecurity at the backbone of ISP level. Okay, so at first, next slide, please. Okay, the future of connectivity powering the digital economy through next generation internet. So basically today, we are running via 5G. So uh, actually not all of our sites or area in the Philippines or Metro Manila or Cebu is running 5G because it's limited because of its limitation. So here in the Philippines, our ISP or biggest telco like PLDT, Converge, or Globe, they are starting rolling out the 5G to support the needs of wireless communication. But apparently, it's still not yet done. So because of its limitation, okay, the Internet of Things, these are the things or the appliances connected via internet. So to explain it further, yung Internet of Things is something like we can control. everything in our house. So basically, if you are in your outside the or remote area or outside your house, you can easily monitor the status of your house. Like you can turn on, turn off your air conditioning, or you can turn on, turn off your lights, or you can close, lock your doors, even outside your house remotely via internet. So that's the Internet of Things. So very smart, and actually today they are rolling out their that technology in the citywide. If you see townships, if you see because most of that is running via internet. Like for example, it's a for example a car going to the town. There, no more. They are targeting no more security personnel, or that's the future. So in the Philippines, because of the limitation, we cannot maximize that. But in other countries, they might do that. They might not need. They might do that. Future or malapit na. So yeah, and then real analytics, remote monitoring system. Basically, before, for example, if you work to a Pag-asa or DOST, they before they need to go to the office, then they will monitor anything on site. But today, even in house, they can monitor anything, analytics. Like for example, the recent incident like the COVID pandemic. All of us are remote, but eventually they were managed to monitor anything, analytic wise in their house via internet. So artificial intelligence and machine learning, uh, today, it is fast paced. You can type anything with ChatGPT because of AI. So due to the AI, the 5G, actually today, the 6G is ongoing development because 5G is not enough for the AI in future. So in future, maybe we can see the machine is start learning on its own because of integration of AI in machine. And the connectivity itself is using, they might use wireless. So 5G is not enough. So in the next future, maybe 6G. But apparently in the Philippines, we are still rolling out 5G. The limitation is that 5G is, they need more antennas, while 6G, it has long bandwidth. So they might solve that issue. Yeah. So that is the digital economy. Uh, next, please. Next. Okay. The software defined networking. So SDN. So network function virtualization. Before we use paper money, right? So before we transact via paper money or checks. So that's hardware. So I mean that's physical type of money. While today, we can easily transact via GCash, Maya, and we don't need to touch money anymore via use of uh, website, internet or API. We have digital wallet. That's for money. Okay, for for communication or the email before last 20 years ago or 30 years ago, we if you want to send email or mail to our we need to send the envelope with the note inside, mail inside. That is the before. So that's physical again. But today we can easily send an email towards our relatives, even even outside the country or outside the Philippines or anything, anyone. We can send email without sending a physical mail. So that is virtualization. So we can transact by virtual. Even today, in what we are doing is example of virtual. So before we need to go in a room and we do classroom, but today we can do virtual meeting, virtual sessions. So that's the meaning of virtualization. So next is cloud computing. So before like for example email, uh our offices uh construct or creates a data center on-prem. So they establish their facility on-prem. But today they choose or they migrating towards cloud. So like for example the email. So before we do pop servers inside the prem or before our communications like chat, we create servers in on-prem. But today we have like Slack, if you know Slack, we have messengers, we have Yahoo Messenger or sorry, Yahoo Messenger is before, yeah. We have what you call this, Google email, or even our local company. It has mail servers outside the room, so they don't need to create. They don't need to construct data center inside the office or in their premise. So they move the servers, switches in the data center to create a cloud. So satellite internet. So basically, satellite internet is we have one, the Elon Musk, the Starlink. So basically, the problem with the internet is that you need the infrastructure or router or telco infrastructure going to your prem. For example, you have house remotely, province, mountainous area, if you or even in the city without cable, they cannot roll out. So they can easily set up a satellite or wireless communication, then wirelessly they can connect towards internet. The perfect example is Starlink. So it it, uh, it is fast paced communication internet remotely. Okay, they use satellites. Then the satellite able to connect your premise equipment towards the data center, then the data center towards our internet. Yeah. Next slide, please. So beyond bandwidth, the role of ISP in the age of AI and cloud 5G. So basically, telecommunication like PLDT, Globe, Converge, or even RISE. We create connectivity from your premise to your to the internet or to your other site. For example, you have your site here in Cebu, and you have another site in Metro Manila, let's say Makati or even Davao. Uh, the role of ISP is the connectivity towards from your end to the other end. So regardless if point to point or multi-point. Or another telco, they are able to connect wirelessly via their wireless arm. So that's the use of 5G. And network For the network optimization management, ISP are leveraging AI for network traffic management.
Sa akin
Hello.
Ito
And
sa
predictive congestion and adjusting optimized performance. So basically, yung traffic towards data center, it's like a traffic enforcer in what you see in the roads. They manage the traffic. So if there's a congestion, they are able to reroute somewhere else. Or for example, there's an event on the particular area and someone wants to go somewhere, going to that area, they can easily reroute it. That's the same task of telco, so ISPs. So that's the basic rule or basic services that ISP can offer. So in a security, AI backup cybersecurity solutions crucial and detecting mitigating cyber threats. So real time. So basically, since we manage the traffic, of course there is some bad things might happen like security breaches or data breaches. So it is a responsibility of ISP to make it secure. So for example, before telephone networks, before telephone network can easily tap, but it is still responsibility of telco to make it secure. Today, for example, you transfer your data to someone else. So telco ISP make sure that no one can breach that connection. So that's one of the services of ISP. So cloud storage solution. The huge or the well-known telco in the Philippines has its own cloud services storage solution. So most of the telco today is building data centers, but Rise is also can provide that as well. Basically, we have a colocation in Vitro data center, which is Vitro is part of PLDT, and Rise has a offering same with that. Basically, Rise can also offer colocation services using that facility of PLDT, something like that. That is the cloud storage solutions. So because data center is fast growing economy facility today. One next slide, please. Okay, internet, entertainment, connect, and content delivery. So in telecommunication business, one of the services of which is that, for example, you want to watch movie in Netflix, or you want to browse ISP, you want to browse Facebook, or you want to browse Google. So one of the services of ISP is partnering to that company or services. Like for example, Rise partnered to Netflix or Google, and they put their connectivity partnership to our system or to our network. So compared, for example, you are in the Philippines and you want to watch movie Netflix without ISP, you need to go to the US because the effect is that high latency, slow connection, slow connectivity. Because of that particular masyadong malayo ang US to Philippines. So it caused a lot of hacks. So one of the services of ISP is to bring that content to the nearest data center. Yeah, so also if you want something like gaming, so if you are in the gaming, you want to play ML, if you want ML, some of the telco has partnering the company of the creator of that ML. Then they put connectivity towards to their server. And if you want a, because if you play without particular segment, it may cause lags of your gaming experience. So smart home IoT integrations. So as mentioned before, smart home and IoT is developing right now. So most of the consumer right now, or even the can afford to that system, can now experiencing the smart home and IoT integration. So with the help of internet, they can easily remote their house or their home, their CCTV. They can today you can avail that particular services. Like for example, CCTV. You install the CCTV in your house. Then if you're outside the country, you can easily monitor your house. I mean, you can easily check what's happening on that on your house, even you are outside the country. So that's the what you call technology behind the IoT and the smart home. Next slide, please. So smart networks and smarter nation, the role of internet provider in the digital future. So as mentioned before, enabling smart cities, promoting digital inclusion, collaborating in progress. So enabling smart cities, promoting digital inclusion, and collaborating the progress. Most of the telco providers at now today is partnering the local government, LGUs, or the national government. As of now, or in other countries, you can easily surf internet freely, providing the internet facility of the ISP and the facility of the government. So that's the result of partnership of the government and the local and the telco. So the task of the telco is to connect the facilities of the government going to the cloud, going to the internet, or going to the data centers. So today, I think they are now rolling out some townships. That's a starting point, actually. Not totally finished, done yet, but the starting point is the township in each and every areas in the cities. Yeah, next slide. Um, the internet of the future trends every computing student should know. Okay. AI and machine learning. So AI today is something like fast-paced growing. Before our generation, we used to go to the library and make some research. We cannot study at home, not unless we have the resources to buy a encyclopedia before or the books before. We need to go to the library to make some research. Today, it's so easy. Just go to your laptop, just go to your cell phone, just type to your ChatGPT. You can easily get what you need. Research is easier now. Of course, the connectivity is ISP powered. ISP provider powered that connectivity. Edge computing, real-time application, optimize efficiency. So, as mentioned before, 5G today, 6G is now developing in a huge telecommunication. 6G is something like connectivity between machines. So, that's in the near future. But today, 5G. Internet of Things, yeah, we are done with that one, sir. Go, one slide, please. Next slide, please. So cybersecurity and cloud computing and data analytics. So cybersecurity, as we know, the technology is easy to share, easy to populate, and of course, easy to capture. So as of now, we are all using digital banks. We are using digital uh, resources. So today, if you know some critical data like uh, your name, your birthplace, your birth name, your name of your parents, you can easily hack your digital resources. So cybersecurity is also and should be part of advancement. Hindi siya dapat naiiwan because once the cybersecurity advances, the cyber criminals also knows that. We know that. They are also upgrading. So as of today, the security is okay, but in the near future, the cyber criminals is aware of that technology and they can easily hack. So we should be aware of the cyber security in the near future also. Not only the technology, what we know. Cloud computing, uh, uh, cloud computing is something like, yeah, the AWS, Azure Cloud, local cloud, everything is in the cloud. You don't need an on-prem, you don't need to do data centers, everything's on cloud. Data analytics, uh, as you know, the data is fast growing. So using data analytics, you can easily predict what's the future or probability of the future. The example of that is the COVID. So we know the trajectory. We can easily predict what will happen, and we can easily to prepare. So not only with COVID, in the real practical implementation or practical uh, daily things what happening. If you know data analytics, you can easily prepare your future. So later I will discuss more deeply how can we use the data analytics in power management of data centers. So next slide. To summarize, the use of the IoT is for security surveillance. So before, you need to dispatch huge number of security personnel on your premise. But today, you don't need to do that. You need to set up a security center or SOC center, or then everything will be monitored remotely of your targeted security place. For example, your office is in Makati and your main office is in Cebu. You can easily monitor. So we can use the power of IoT. Smart traffic management. So in future, maybe the traffic lights, we don't need the traffic enforcers or traffic, or we cannot uh, move away everything, but we can dispatch minimum number of traffic personnel on site just to monitor the things actual happening on site. But if we roll out the IoT and smart traffic, you can easily remote them. You can easily monitor the traffic condition. Healthcare medicine, yeah, maybe in the future, maybe we use robots in healthcare medicine. Something like, actually today, I heard in the US or in the European or the rich country, they can easily put a tablet in a robot, and they will the patient will swallow that particular tablet, and then they monitor it via remotely, and they control that, and they will see your stomach, inside your stomach, your gastric juices. They can easily monitor anything. So you don't need the recent technology that you X-ray or current technology. So I heard that it's a small robot that you need to swallow and control it via IoT. Smart city, smart home. I discussed that. Energy consumption, especially in nuclear, in Japan, US, or European country, they can. The IoT is already well used already. They already maximize the power of IoT in that particular segment. Smart cities, agriculture. So for the agriculture, I know in the Philippines, they are starting to rolling out, but limited only. They put 5G or 5G technology in the farms, and they don't need to go there to water or to fertilize the farms. So they just need to put a sensors, and everything is synced. The data will be sent towards cloud, and through cloud, you are in your data center or you're in your house. You can easily monitor if that particular area is watered or fertilized, or the temperature. You can easily monitor the desired temperature. You can adjust the water system. You can adjust the fertilize. You can monitor the status of the plants. That's the agriculture automation. That's everything is in integration with 5G wireless and the power of telco, internet, and cloud. I think it's the same lang. Redundant yung dalawa. So next slide. So that's it. So that's the summarize. You can, as you see, the hands is handling a cell phone gadget only. With that, you can easily control everything using 5G, 6G. You can check the dashboard. You can check the status. You can check the traffic condition na nagkakape ka lang in your house. So that's the power of IoT, Internet of Things. Next slide. Yeah, as mentioned before, uh, most of us is focusing only for the technology itself, but the cybersecurity should not left behind. So I put some points. This is the type of attacks that might affect our system. So the DDoS, if you heard about DDoS, is something like, as we know, our computer system has its uh, limitation, like the RAM, ROM. Kapag ginagamit natin siya at through its capabilities, bumabagal yung ating computer system. The DDoS attacks is meaning that attacker will attack your device and overwhelm the network, your system, until it crashes. I know there's some incident a year ago. If you know the BPI attack, I know there are some cases there that something like they suspect that it's a DDoS attack. They overwhelm the system and it crashes. It crashes. So that's the DDoS attack. Next, the phishing and social engineering. So the phishing is something like, it comes from the word phishing. So phishing, the attacker will send the link on an email or even the text message or anything. And if you click that particular link, uh, if you, because of your curiosity or meaning, let's say someone sent an email, then they said, you need to update something on your bank account. because your bank account is you need to update your credential, let's say, and you need to click that particular link, and you click that link. When you click that link, it will go to their portal, and then you didn't notice that that link is fake, and you put your credential, your username and password, especially if you are in a bank. Let's say a bank like your, or let's say your Gcash or Maya. Someone texted you or someone emailed you, then you click that link and you put your credential on that link. And that data will transmit to the hacker's data center or daughter's data. And that particular credential will be used against to your accounts, and they can easily get all your money on it. Something like that's a phishing. Malware, ransomware. So malware is the same with phishing. However, the malware is something like in ransomware, something like they for example they get your data. They said I have your account, I have your credential. I will not push the hacking if you give me some cash, something like it's a ransom. So for example, I got your username and password, then the hacker will 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 requested or will requested you to give you some money. It happens. I think in Europe, I think there's a certain company there that their products and services are registered accounts only. So the hacker gets that account, something like a bag. There's a certain digital identity there, and the hacker get all those products and services. And the hacker insists or requested the owner that I will give all this data to you if you give me a certain amount of money. That's the ransomware. So with password, of course, we need to secure our password. We need to provide strong password. Cloud vulnerabilities, supply chain, and compliance regulatory. So in compliance regulatory, we have two well-known regulatory. It's GDPR and Data Privacy Act. Data Privacy Act is for Philippines only. For GDPR is for European regulatory. So basically, as our technology grow, we need to update those compliance and regulatory. So that's the challenge. So as of now, our DPA is 2012. Today is 2025. It's almost 10 years already. So most of the company now is using GDPR, even in the Philippines, because the DPA is too outdated already. It's 2012. Yeah. Next slide. So the solutions of that particular challenges is that advanced threat detection. Uh, we need to deploy tools. For the DDoS, there are some products and services like Akamai, or the Akamai is something like, if you know Akamai, I know you know the Akamai, it's a DDoS prevention tool. So they prevent the DDoS. So I know in Philippines, most of the telco providers provides those some kind of services, cheaper version of Akamai. Multi-factor authentication, for example, if you put the password alone, sometimes you need to put OTP as a secondary authentication. OTP. And the other one is the thumb mark or the print, thumb print. Yeah. So of course, employee trainings. So basically, our employee or most of the companies right now is doing some trainings on their employees to prevent phishing. Because it's easy to prevent actually. if you are aware. If you click someone, if you click the link, you can easily check the link, the URL, and you will notice that that is not a legit link. Or for example, PPI or Gcash. If you click that link, it will go to the web form or the Gmail, the Google form, something like that. You can easily aware. And if you are deeply aware, there is a HTTP and HTTPS. That's aware. That's the responsibility of the company itself. Also, the responsibility of the employee. Yeah, it should be aware. Data encryption. So basically, we need to protect the data. Along the way, it's transit towards to the recipient. DDoS mitigation, the same with the Akamai, what I've said. Regular audit and incident response. Regular audit, of course, we need to audit something like if you have before you need to audit your resources. The same with digital or cybersecurity, cyber resources. You need to audit. You need to audit because sometimes the hackers or the bad people, they can put something on your resources, and because of that, it can easily populate and monitor your data. So you can prevent that by continuously identifying the resources. So incident response and secure cloud. Next next slide, please. So this is just a real time. I have a sources there. That is the percentage statistics uh, of recent events. So ransomware is 66%, software supply chain 62%, cloud vulnerabilities 46%, inside threats 56%, phishing 50%. So we need to lower that percentage in the Philippines or even in the Asia. Yeah. Okay. So that is the demand forecast. So back to the AI power demand. As you can see, uh, I have a link there, marketwatch.com. They create a study that the due to the AI fast growing, source Wells Fargo. That is the growth of the power resources. That's up to 2030. So 652 terawatts demand. So for up to 4,000 terawatts per hour demand. So it's fast growing. So that's the one consideration that we need to anticipate. So next slide. So this is the limitation. That is the there is a news right now. AWS restricts data center access in Ireland because of the power concern. AI growing electricity demand, straining data centers. Power shortages will restrict 40% of AI data centers by 2027. So as you know, Hong Kong and Singapore are already saturated because I know Singapore has lost already has a power issues right now because of the data center. Hong Kong the same, and even Philippines. We only our source only coals, so that's the issue right now. But I know AWS has a study, or they are doing some research regarding to address that issue by doing a nuclear powered data center, but they need to consider safety. So it's ongoing research and development right now. So maybe in future it will solve the power issues that might happen. Yeah. Next slide. Yeah, this is the AI is likely to be either the best or the worst thing to happen in humanity. That is quote from Stephen Hawking. So we can we can uh, we can get all the positive effects of AI because of the information. But the thing is, we cannot use it. I mean, di natin siya pwedeng gamitin na, or it might give you a worse thing happen, because if we depend on AI, our learning might not might not hamper, because the AI is based on the recent studies, recent data. It cannot do research on the future. It will depend on the statistics. Do you know, we need to discover all new things. I mean, on ourselves. That is the, because if we depend on AI, it will depend on the research of the other people. It will depend on the data analytics. As we know, data analytics is good. We can predict the future, but that is not the holy grail. We cannot exactly predict the future using data.
Okay. So thank you very much, Mr. Jabray Katungal, the Technical Solutions Manager of RISE. Thank you, sir, for sharing your insights on how we can thrive in the evolving digital landscape. Of course, the use of the internet, IoT, cybersecurity, and different AI tools, and the future of technologies. Sir, will it be okay if we will be accommodating some questions, Sir Ray?
Sure, no worries.
We are now opening the floor for some questions. Anyone? Baka po may tanong tayo. Meron po ba tayong tanong? Okay. Sir, ako muna. While, no, so having this technology, having everything, no, how will this AI tools impact the education sector? Diba? We have this, of course, no, the AI tools. You have made mention about the ChatGPT, but how will this AI tools impact the education sector, specifically now that AI tools and ChatGPT are in place?
Yeah. Actually, AI tool, as mentioned before, AI is a great tool. Actually, you can easily research. You can easily found the answer. Just like before. Actually, before we can go to the library. That is our AI before. So you can search manually. But today, you can easily check the tools, that data on your PC, on your home alone. You don't need to go to the library. That's the limitation of AI. But the thing is, the limitation should be your memory. So yeah, you can easily depend on that particular tool. The memory retention will be hampered, because you can easily check. You cannot do impromptu. Because, for example, you go to a meeting and you don't have your iPhone, you don't have your cell phone, you don't have your PC, and there's something, a remote question. If you depend on the AI, the mastery itself will be hampered. Someone asks you a question impromptu, and because you don't know that, because you are dependent on the AI. Yeah, so the mastery itself will be hampered. That's the limitation of AI. I guess the AI cannot give you the mastery itself. AI is just a resources. AI is just a help, but not the mastery alone. You need to master everything.
So as much as possible, we should be able to be able to fully utilize these AI tools. So given, of course, whatever is the thought that you wanted, and then you may seek help maybe, or assistant or assist assistance, no, from the AI tools. Okay, thank you very much, Sir Ray. Maybe some of our colleagues in here, no, have questions also. You can raise it up. You can unmute yourself if you have some questions or clarifications, or you can chat it in the chat box. Meron pa po ba? I know Dr. Rosalie Alday has question. Ma'am Rose, do you have question po?
Actually, the discussion had been very comprehensive, and how I wish that the 201 is double, because we can accommodate until 500. But actually, the more than 200 participants is very ideal already. And how I wish that these students, even if you are graduating, learn more about the topic. Bakit ba ako yung nagko-closing remarks na niyan nung tinawag mo ako? The consideration is that how I wish that these students also will be asking question, because iba yung level ng understanding kapag katulad natin kaysa sa kanila. So, hindi ako magtatanong, kundi I am encouraging those who are here. That's why I am the one who asked them to put their school name. Baka gusto kong tumawag dito, like, mga taga-LPU Manila, itayo nyo ang bandila ng inyong school. Show that you listen to the speaker, so you can ask whatever topic you have in mind. Taga-UP, itong Perpetual Health. Sino pa ba? Bakit hindi nag-rename yung iba? ASU is, ano nga sir ang ASU? Aklan State University. Sir, pwede po kayong tumawag dyan. How I wish we can give, premyo to the best question of the day. Mga bata, magtanong tayo. LPU Laguna, PLSP, PSU is, ano ba to? Palawan State University or Pangasinan? Tahimik pa rin ang mga bata.
Yan, si Sir Ashley.
Ayan, si Sir Ashley.
Yes po, is raising his hand.
Hi po.
Yes, sir.
Hi po. Narinig po ba ako?
Yes, sir.
Yes, malinaw. Yeah.
Hi po. Student po ako ng PLP, Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Pasig. Apologies po na hindi po ako nakapag-rename. About po sa question, regarding po sa AI, given that the current educational system is trying its best with the students and the faculties, however, it is still obviously lacking compared to other first world countries. I wonder how we could implement AI to better accommodate our students and the level of education that will be able to acquire and teach such students, if not this current generation, but the future generations of our students. Yes, yun lang po.
Okay. Of course, there is always a limitation. Like for example, in Philippines, we are in a third world country, so marami tayong limitation in terms of funding, technology, and etc. We can use the education provided by our respected educators or schools, but something like learning is something like personal. As we know, we can use the power of internet. We can easily understand, or we can easily learn via webinar, or even if you want to study advancement of our learning, we can subscribe or pay some other educational materials outside the school. So in that way, you can easily achieve the learning standard of other countries. I mean, di man tayo makasabay in our resources in the Philippines, but still personally we can help ourselves na mag-aral advance by using the paid 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 infrastructure like Udemy. Marami tayong pwedeng gamitan. Mura lang naman 'yon, mga 500, depends on the course that you want. Most of the infrastructure right now is most of the learning system right now is via webinar. So so apparently if you want to study, you can use the resources of the internet. Yeah. But of course, you need to pass, of course, the Philippine education system. And once you well known already, I mean, marami ka ng alam regards technology, you can easily contribute. I mean, you can easily contribute as a help towards yung education natin. Share like I'm doing right now because I have experience with the technology. That's why I'm sharing with you all. Yeah, so tulungan lang. So should not be a limitation of the resources. So we need to maximize something like that. Meron tayong ano, sir. Did I answer your question, sir?
Yes po, thank you.
May question. Expert says that AI technology and doubles every 3.3 months. Correct. AI in general po, question ko. Ask ko lang, in your opinion, will AI singularity come earlier in our lifetime? Meaning, you ask question about itself, like, what's the purpose of life? Like what I have said, even if you try this question in ChatGPT, they will answer you na sabihin niya na hindi kanya kilala or something like hindi niya alam yung purpose, something like that. But it will categorically say the purpose of life based on its current database. So maybe in future, because most of us are sharing anything in internet, like we share in Facebook, maybe in Web3, maybe we can share personally itself. The AI can use that, and based on the analytics, they might answer your question. As I said, the AI is based. The answer is based on data analytics. However, the data analytics is not the holy grail to predict the future. It's just a probability. You cannot 100% sure. That's the limitation of AI. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you.
Yeah. Did I answer my question? Did you answer your question, Francis?
Sir William, I think. So thank you, sir, for that. Another question po from Sir Francis. In terms of careers and jobs, what IT skills will be in demand, not only in the Philippines, but worldwide, so students could focus on it?
So basically, more on to help you further, if you want to focus on technology and information technology, as of today, you need to master the cloud technology. So cloud technology, that's the fast growing industry right now. It's a cloud technology. As you know, as I mentioned from a previous slide, AI uses the cloud technology. So marami ngayon sa internet, like AWS certification, cloud certification, Azure Cloud certification. Of course, if you want to focus on telecommunication, you will start networking. Right now, sa ibang bansa, actually, wala na silang, if you know, CCNA, CCNP, CCIE, sa ibang bansa, hindi na masyadong tinitingnan yung CCNA. So, most of the requirements right now is CCI, CCNP, and CCIE. So, I guess, before you go towards cloud, you need to master the telecommunications part or the networking part. So, actually, karamihan ngayon ng graduate students have a CCNA already or the networking certification already. So, dapat, if you go further, you need, as of now, you need to focus on virtualization, SD-WAN technology, software-defined technology, cloud technology. Yeah. If you want to focus on technology aspect.
Okay, so thank you very much, Sir Ray. Thank you, Sir Francis. Another question, will it be okay, sir? From Sir Adrian po, from University of Perpetual Health System, Laguna. With regards to the limitations of AI, where it only depends on current data and statistics, what are some interventions that can mitigate the full dependence to AI and encourage continued learning?
Yeah. Para sa akin, for me, learning, what is learning? So learning is something like you don't know or we don't know. AI is depend on humankind knows already. So we shared that already. We give that already. But personally, of course, that particular data, we don't know. I know learning is something like humankind don't know yet. Something like discovery. Learning is something like discovery. It's comparable to the education. Education is they are preparing us to know better in future. The same with AI. AI teaches us the past and the present. But the learning is something like you need to know the future, the actual future. So to answer that question is that you need to discover new things. That's the learning. That's the actual meaning of learning. If you solely depends on AI, your learning is something like limited on that particular segment. So that's not the meaning of learning. Okay. Learning, if like for example, if you go high school, if you go college, then you go master's degree in future. The teacher, like for example, in high school and college, the teacher fetch you the information, or in college, it's simultaneous information. For master's degree, you research, you do research, then you will defend that particular research to your proctor, to your professor. But in PhD, you need to do research na wala pa dun sa previous learnings. What I'm saying is, that is the learning. That's the meaning of learning. Ulitin ko, if we depend on the AI, that's not the learning. You are just learning the past and the present. But in reality, you need to know the future, the actual. Yeah. You need to discover. That's your motivation as a person, as a student.
Okay, so thank you very much, Sir Ray. Thank you, Sir Adrian. Sir, will it be okay if we will be having, of course, one more question from BSU
Sure.
Lipa?
Sure.
So this is from Sir Loy from BSU Lipa. I would like to ask if there has been any encountered ransomware attack that caused significant damage. There was it resolved? If there was it resolved? If not, which solution be more effective? Cloud computing or an AI-based advanced detection system? Thank you, Sir John.
Okay, yeah, of course, there's a lot, based on my slides before, there is a percentage already happened on the world, in our world, na meron ng incident ng ransomware. Of course, with the help of AI, we can easily detect that. In technology right now, for example, someone send a link, and that link is not secured, AI can easily mitigate that. Actually, there's a product and service available on the market that's the Security Operations Center. Is a software tool or software advancement tool na available sa market na pwede nating i-install or pwede nating i-implement sa company. So every time na there's a ransomware or ransom issues, that particular system can easily determine or mitigate. That's available. That's widely available in the market right now. With the advancement, with the help of AI. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Sir Loy. Thank you, Sir Job. Sir, talagang nakikinig ng ating mga participants. Ano po, there is one more question. As an office secretary, how can I adapt and stay relevant in the fast-changing digital era, especially with the rise of AI and automation in administrative tasks?
Yeah. To answer that question, okay. As you know, the advancement of technology is very fast growth. So maybe tomorrow or the next month, the next year, iba na naman yung technology natin na available in the market. So even if in the Philippines is very slow pace compared to other countries, for us to adapt in digital area, we need to read, we need to be more, everything is in the internet right now. So we can subscribe to a technology magazine or subscribe to a or sumali tayo sa mga clubs or technology webinars, and we cannot of course we cannot limit it on that particular side. We need to search, we need to explore, we need, like for example, I discovered, or this is widely known education platform, the Udemy something. If you subscribe to that one, you can check all those technology insights there, what happened on the technology right now. You just need to subscribe. The information there is very relevant today and in the future, projection in the future.
Okay, so thank you very much po. Thank you. This is the last. Pasensya na kayo, sir. This is the last question na po. It's a very interesting topic po. Very curious po. What is the future of artificial intelligence when combined with quantum computing?
Okay. Yung quantum computing is something like it has a, what you call this, something like the antimatter research, something like that. So you need huge amount of energy to do that. I mean, like for example, if we use the basic equation of Albert Einstein, the E is equal to mc squared. If you reach quantum, it has huge amount of energy that needs, which is not available right now. What I heard is that they are unti-unti, they are researching on that particular quantum computing. But apparently, as of today, due to the limitation of energy, it may not happen today or in the next 10 years or 20 years. So, quantum is something like, it's mas mataas pa siya sa virtualization. So, as of today, it's impossible to do. But in future, we might know. Maybe sa apo or apo-apo ninyo na. So, that's the quantum computing. Yeah, for
Okay. So let's give once again Mr. Jabray Katunggal a virtual round of applause. Thank you very much, sir, for a very comprehensive discussion about the future of the digital era. Siyempre, palakpakan din po natin ang ating mga participants for actively participating in today's webinar. And to award, of course, the certificate, let me read the citation. Okay. Integrated Society of Information Technology Enthusiasts, or iSight Incorporated, Certificate of Recognition is awarded to Mr. Jabray Katunggal for sharing his expertise on the topic, The Future of the Digital Era, during the iSight free webinar held via Zoom on June 9, 2025, given this 9th day of June, 2025. Signed, Dr. Neil P. Balba, our iSight president. So once again, let's give Mr. Jabray Katunggal a virtual round of applause. Once again, thank you, IT enthusiasts, of course, from different colleges and universities, professionals, industry practitioners, for joining us today. Shall I say from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Thank you po for joining us today. Certificates, of course, will be sent to your email addresses. For those who are not yet a member of iSight, you can process your membership to avail more iSight free webinars, because certificate of participation will be given to members. Ano po? So yung mga hindi pa po nagbe-member ng iSight, you can process po your membership, and we will be sending you po a certificate of participation of this webinar. Can we request for the photo op po muna before the closing remark? Okay lang po ba? Ayan. Okay, may I request everyone to please on your camera for the photo op with our speaker, of course. Ayan. Okay, nasa first slide po ako. Ayan. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Next screen po ako. Can you please turn on your camera if you can? 1, 2, and 3. Next slide. Another 1, 2, and 3. Fourth slide na po ako. 1, 2, and 3. Fifth slide. 1, 2, and 3. Sixth slide. 1, 2, and 3. Seventh slide. 1, 2, and 3. Eighth slide. 1, 2, and 3. All right. So thank you very much once again. And to move forward po, may I request, of course, our Vice President, no, Dr. Rosalie Bialday, for the closing remarks. Dr. Rose?
Good morning, everyone. Hopefully, hindi ako ma-disconnect kanina. Hello, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Kanina kadi-disconnect ko lang. Medyo mahina ang internet dito sa aming lugar. In behalf of the iSight officers and board members,
Na-disconnect ata ang mata. Oh. Okay. So while we are waiting for the Dr. Rosalie Bialday, may I request everyone to please, of course, accomplish our attendance link, which can be found in the chat box. Ma'am Rose? Go ahead
Hello po, good morning. Bumalik.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, bumalik na po ako. Naririnig na po?
Yes, madam. We can hear you.
Good morning, everyone. In behalf of the eyesight officers and board members, in behalf of the eyesight officers and board members, I would like to take this opportunity to give our heartfelt thanks to our speaker of the day. And I wanted to acknowledge all the schools who attended today. Pasensya na po dun sa una kong makikita based on my screen. University of Perpetual Help.
I think Ma'am Rose has a poor connection at the moment. Once again, I am encouraging everyone to please do check if you were able to accomplish our attendance form. And for those who were not able to process yet their membership, we are very much excited to welcome you on our eyesight or Integrated Society of Information Technology enthusiasts. Okay. So medyo nagkakaproblema po ang internet connection ng ating Vice President. In behalf of the Vice President of Eyesight, may I call on, of course, ever dynamic, Dr. Marmelo Abante. Please, Sir Melo, would you like to do the honor of closing our webinar today? Doc Melo? Follow mo ako. Doc Melo, are you still there? Doc Melo? Okay, so maybe Doc Melo is not yet, or maybe equally important. Maybe Doc Alice is here. Doc Alice?
Okay. Doc Louie?
Ayan, andyan si Ma'am.
Doc
Okay,
Louie,
go ahead.
Can you still hear me?
Yes, go ahead. Yes,
nakatatlong ulit na po ulitin. In behalf of the eyesight officers and board members, we wanted to take this opportunity to give our heartfelt thanks to our speaker of the day. Sir, thank you so much. And to all the participants, and I want to acknowledge the school. That's why I asked to rename. So I can see in my screen, Perpetual Help Laguna, Lyceum Manila, Lyceum Cavite, Lyceum Manila, Batangas, PSU. I don't know if this is Palawan State University or Pangasinan State University, Aklan State University. Sino pa po ba ang mga school na nandito?
St. Dominic, ma'am. St. Dominic College of Asia. World City Colleges po, nandito din. Based from the attendance po, we would like to thank everybody. Katulad po ng sinasabi ng ating Vice President. We of course have here the National University Fairview, Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Pasig, Aklan State University, John Paul College. Okay, tinuloy ko na po. Medyo mahina lang po ang connection ng madam. LPU Laguna, University of Perpetual Health System, Lyceum of the Philippines, University Cavite, Laguna, Pangasinan State University, Colegio de Montalban, PLSP, Mindoro State University, naririto po sila. Maraming salamat po for joining. De La Salle Araneta University, thank you po. Who else? NU Lipa, World City Colleges QC, John Paul College, National University Lipa. Who else? Cebu, Roosevelt, naririto rin po sila. Memorial College, Bulacan State University, Lyceum of Tingloy de San Roque, thank you Doc Melo. Batangas State University, Lipa, Batangas, and Malvar, no? Nandito din po sila. Trent Information First College, thank you po for joining us today. Who else? First, ayun. Trent Information First Technology, naririto po sila. University of Cabuyao, Minso, Bungabong Campus. Yan, ang dami po natin. We are very happy po to see you today. Don Honorio, Ventura State University, maraming salamat po. Ama University. Who else? Ang nakaligtaan ko po, Graduate School ng World City Colleges. PUP Benyan, Laguna, salamat po ng marami for joining us today. Yun. May nakalimutan pa po ba ako? Manuel A. Rojas High School, thank you po for joining us today. Polytechnic University of the Philippines. Who else? Ayun. Ari po ay aking binasa ay galing sa attendance po natin. St. Dominic College of Asia. Who else po? NU Dasma, Centuries. Ang dami, nakakatuwa po. So again po, for those who are not yet a member of iSight, please process po your membership. So we can, of course, send already your certificate of participation for today's webinar. So once again, marami pong salamat. Maraming salamat sa ating speaker, Mr. Job Ray Katunggal, and to all our participants today, the IT enthusiasts. Dr. Neil Balba, would you like to say something po? Final words.
Sir Jobs, thank you so much for your support to iSight. And I would like to announce also to our IT enthusiasts that you need to apply for your membership, accomplish your membership form, because we'll be having more free seminars.
Yes.
And I think we still have 3 in the lineup. And I hope that you could be a member. And for all faculty, professors, and IT enthusiasts, also there will be a forthcoming event in Boracay. But I know for those who haven't registered yet, you still have time. But if you cannot attend, we'll be planning also this coming October for another professional IT enthusiast event that students can also attend there. With that, Rice, thank you so much for your participation and your support as our speaker for today. And maraming salamat po sa lahat ng umattend. God bless us all.
Okay, so thank you very much to our, of course, thank you, Sir Neil. Thank you, everyone. We have, sabi po, Batsu Alangila, naririto din po sila, Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Pasig, Polytechnic University of the Philippines, Benyan, LPU Manila, Olfu Antipolo, maraming salamat po. God bless everyone. Thank you so much. Bye-bye po. Bye.